start, coach, in terms of preparation with back-to-back games, how have you been preparing with the boys for the match ahead of the weekend?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your presence. Basically, the preparation on the moment is on recovering our players from last match, trying to see who is in condition, and basically we'll have it tomorrow. Obviously today we trained already with the remaining players, the ones that didn't play and the ones that are available from them. And I'll take the afternoon to work obviously with the staff in order to prepare the approach on the match. We just came from the match with Supersport, and that was the most important match of our lives. And next one is obviously now the most important one. So similar procedure and similar approach to the one we did in the previous matches.
Thank you, Coach. We'll take questions from the floor. If you can remember to introduce yourself, please do so.
Coach, Lorenzo from Miguel Times. This fixture in the past has been very physical, more so from Sundowns side, because Pirates is a team that likes to play with the ball at the feet. They like to show their flair and individual quality with their attacking players. I'm sure you've studied previous games, added to what they've done this season. I'm not going to ask how you would approach it, but what do you make of this Pirates team and this fixture in particular?
I focus mainly on our team. I really don't care about what happened in the past. It's a new page, it's different teams. Mostly our team is basically different, and obviously that I understand and I know and I'm aware about what happened, and I know how the approach is on the last games. But I need to understand is how we want to approach the game. That is the most important message that we need to pass for our players, and we need to well study the approach that we want to have. Anyway, we are in a process of growing the team, and for sure it's under that growth that we're going to approach the game, and that's basically what will happen. There's always details that we need to take on consideration, and we'll do it. But it's just another match of football, and whatever happened in the pitch is just another match, and it's just 3 points. And whatever happens doesn't close or open the championship. We'll keep it open until the end for sure. To balance teams, to teams that have their own qualities, two different teams, but two teams that want to win for sure. So that's the most interesting aspect of the game, is that I believe that both teams will want to win the match. Also, I believe that the match will have different moments. I hope that indeed we have a good football match that can highlight also South African football in the world, and I would like it to be broadcasted abroad so that indeed we can show the level of football that also we can play here.
100%.
I'm just looking at the magnitude of this match, Coach. The South Africans got to experience a big historical derby last week. And this match again comes here, and you've come forward and you were quite critical about how we should direction that South African football should take. What's your impression of the following that you've seen from the three clubs that are involved, especially building up into this match that is coming? Where do you rate it in your traveling that you have seen that South Africa has got a Sundowns versus Pirates, which sells out stadiums any day, any time, and how's your preparation looking into it? And if you can as well, your message to the fans while the match is sold out. We've got a problem of timekeeping. Our fans arriving late.
I just didn't understand the last part. Who is arriving late?
The last part is normally supporters come late to the stadium. It's just so as they come early to the
Thank you.
stadium.
I understand. Look, there are different aspects about what you said. When you said I've been critical, it's a positive approach from my part. You know, obviously criticals can be positive. It's not. What I've been saying is that I'm pretty excited about being here, and not surprised, but highlighting the quality that also we have in the football. And as we have quality players, we have quality coaches. We should also have as best as possible the places and the environments where we play football. We have wonderful people around the stadiums, as you said, our fans. Different approach also, so if we compare it with European fans or North African fans, where it's much more aggressive. So this is also beautiful, and for me it has been a wonderful experience, and for sure I profit a lot from it. So obviously having a full stadium with big capacity, like we saw last week, and now we're going to see this week again, is obviously a great feeling, and provides great emotions and highlights also, and brings up the level of the players for sure, pushes the players to their limit. And this is a product, as I said already previously, and I'm very happy to be part of that product. Obviously that we should have fans on the stands that respect each other. Last year was horrible as an experience because by that side, because we could not have fans on both teams in the big games. In Tunisia, they are not allowed to be at the same time in the stadiums. The ambience is really aggressive and negative, but here is not that way. And fans should cheer, should enjoy, should push for their teams in the ambience of respect, and they should arrive early on the stadium so that they can also enlarge the period where they share the ambience of a football game. I hope by the side of security everything will go well. I hope that the fans in the end get satisfied by having a wonderful game, and as people say, let the best one win, and I hope the best one will be Mamelodi Sundowns, of course.
Any other question on the
Coach, greetings, Khoza from Far Post. You've got Khoza, 20-year-old defender, I think, very unusual, especially for a big club, for a defender. He's done very well. Going into a game of this magnitude, are you tempted to manage his involvement?
We don't look at the passport or the citizenship document from the players regarding their age, their sex, their color. We don't look at nothing of that. We look at values and behaviors. If they share the values of the club, they share the values of the team, and they have the right behaviors inside the pitch on the training sessions, we trust, we put them to play. Obviously that each game has an approach, and each game has also an evaluation regarding the conditions of the players. I'm speaking not about Mali, but in general. So that's what we need to do in a daily basis, because now it's a really daily basis evaluation and management. Tomorrow we'll still decide and we'll still check how the players are, and only after that we will decide who's gonna go for the game. I believe that in the future the position of central back will be even more difficult for us, but positively difficult. So those are the difficulties that the coach likes to have, because also we have a Motobi that is coming back. Also we have Kiano that can play center back. Yesterday Lucas Suarez played for the first time. We had Musa in a good level. We have Grant. We still have Keegan that can give a hand. So it's a position where the competition will be tough. But with the schedule we have ahead, they will rotate. So we're happy with the work that Mali has been doing for the first year in the level of first team of Mamelodi Sundowns, but he's coping well with the responsibility, so we trust him for every match we have ahead.
Good day, Coach Miguel. Coach, looking at your signings for January, particularly Jaden Adams and Suarez, who played yesterday, had a very good game. Jaden was man of the match. And I could see also with the variations of being able to change formations within the game when you put in Suarez and you went with the victory. Also having a second footed centre back. How exciting is it, coach, that your canvas is bigger to paint different pictures within the game, looking at what Jaden has now added to this midfield, still having Pizum Kuliso on the bench. How exciting is it to have a bigger canvas to just paint different pictures with the players that you've acquired in January?
Yeah, good question. Thank you. And I'll try to give an answer on the level, because obviously sometimes the coach changes the structure in answer to what's happening in the pitch. Yesterday was not the case. Yesterday we changed the structure in order to cope with the substitutions we wanted to do on the game. So we just tried to understand who were the players that we could give an opportunity to get minutes, and that can be important for the future. But at the same time, which were the players that we could spare and we could take out. And it's important that you understand the level of responsibility we put it on the game, and just after we scored the third goal, we made substitutions. So we knew what kind of game and what tricky games we play when we are winning 2-0. But it's obviously important for the coach to have solutions, tactical solutions that come also from the qualities of the players. And we, as coaches, we need to always organize the team in order to take out the best that the players have. That's also something we like to do. And I think it's the best way to have a proper outcome in terms of performance from the players. So basically that's what we did yesterday, and that's what we've been doing in the last games. So just to conclude the question, one side we want to do this adaptation between ourselves and the players to take out the best, but also we need to manage the moments. So it's in the middle of this that we are selling in the moment as coaches.
Coach, how are you? Tatlefo from the Citizen. Coach, you've spoken a lot about the mental aspect that you work on with the players. With that in mind, how much of that will you be working on, considering what happened, in last season between the two clubs, particularly with the Nedbank Cup final? I'm sure your players will want to sort of right the wrongs of that match. And then also, from your experience, how important is a statement win in a game like this where Pirates are considered your title challenges?
Obviously, everybody is aware that a positive result for us with a victory would give us a good advantage. A draw would keep 3 points advantage for us, and hope or eventually 6, depending on the result of the match that Paris has to play. An eventual defeat would put us in a eventually similar number of points or 3 points ahead of Pirates. Obviously the context becomes different. What I believe is that the championship will continue tough whatever happens in this match. No team will give up, and both teams can still achieve results. There's a second match to play with Pirates. There's matches to play, very important. And as I understand already, if we don't put everything on each match, we can lose points everywhere. So I expect a tough match, but I expect an open championship after that. Regarding the mental approach on the game, from my part, it's just one game. So there's no more pressure on this game rather than any other one from my part and on our players. I also don't relate with the past, and I don't approach any match thinking about the past. We had to play matches already tough emotionally this season, and we did them without any kind of weight extra on the players, because there's no need for it. I don't need to push responsibility on this match on my players, because they know it. It's clear. So they have already pressure from you, from media. They have the pressure from their, let's say, relatives, from their friends, from their families, from themselves on their own, because they also want to push their best on this game. So what I need to do is make them live the right emotions, because I believe that the right emotions can make you be much more close to the right behaviors. The bad emotions can take you apart of those behaviors. And inside the pitch, we depend on the behaviors of the players. I'm speaking about not behaviors that are behaviors, football behaviors that we want for the team to have, individual behaviors, relations between sectorial behaviors and intersectorial behaviors, so that we play the game as much as possible in the plan we want to play it. I think that's what will happen in the pitch, a fight between two teams that want to push the game for their way, the way they want to approach it, even strategically. So that's what I think we're going to have tomorrow. Sometimes these games are not the best games in terms of level of game played. Sometimes these games, they become not the most beautiful ones, let's say. Let's see what will happen, because also then results can open the games in one way or another. But I think that the game might be very equalized, and then be strategical and tactical eventually, because the players also, they know how to play these kind of games.
We'll take the last three questions.
With the CAF Champions League draw coming up on the 20th, how important was this period to be able to focus solely on domestic competition, and also how important is it now to be able to manage and take care of your players before that competition resumes and your schedule gets more intense?
Yeah, we closed. I said after the game we played with Asfa that we were closing a door and opening another one, and exactly that's what we are doing. We just forgot Champions League, and we should do it so that we can put the right mindset on the championship, because the championship will until the end of March we'll have basically most of the games of the championship played. Then there will remain 7 or 8 matches, depending a little bit on the schedules. But I think now with the changes regarding Champions League dates also changing, eventually more will go for April. But on the first dates that we had, I think 6 more, maximum 7 matches to play from the championship after March. It means that these 2 months are 2 important months for us to focus on the championship. And we want to do it for championship and Nedbank Cup, of course. And we want to do very well on the national competitions. We really do. And myself, I also want to do it. So it's a moment that we are preparing the team, but basically we are competing and trying to adjust every match the context that we have so that we perform in the right way. And then when Champions League will appear, we'll cope with that. Obviously, that the importance of those matches will come more in the front, and then we'll have to handle it in the right way for sure.
Obviously, with the Club World Cup trophy here today, just want to ask you something in relation to the tournament. I mean, how much information are you already processing with regards to the tournament, even though it's only going to be played from June?
Thank you very much for the question. You might not believe, but I just came from a meeting and Shuping was calling me, come on the press conference, because I was seated discussing a little bit some questions regarding the approach that we're going to do in terms of trips and matches and this and that. So the club is working on the backstage on everything. So basically in the moment we have almost everything finished regarding the World Cup of Clubs. And it's also that is not something that is not on my worries, of course, but also ourselves in terms of scouting. That is basically the side that touches the coach, is define if you want to have a friendly match or no, or friendly matches or no. Anyway, there will be not a lot of time between the end of the championship. If we arrive on the final of Champions League, it will be after 1 week. We'll be going for USA. So. Most of all, tries to start now scouting the teams, and we have our plan, and not much more than that, because the club is working so well that everything is already settled down in terms of organization questions and issues.
And just a follow-up to that, coach, is just the excitement of the club participating in the Club World Cup and also the trophy being.
Obviously, that today is we have this small period. Because we needed to make it small, because the players need to go home to rest as much as possible. But of course, that it's a privilege to be a club that arrived on a moment that can, by his last classifications, get the points to participate in a World Cup of Clubs. It's a big achievement from the club. Myself, I'm obviously very pleased, because not only I qualified last year. Esperance Tunis for the World Cup, and then I have the privilege to come in Mamelodi Sundowns, and also have the privilege to be part of a club that goes on the World Cup of Clubs. So myself as a coach is wonderful, and the players obviously excited about that. But we have a very big sense of responsibility, and we have so much ahead in such a period of time that you cannot even open your mind too much regarding that. Today, obviously, we want to share the moment. But after we're going to close it very quickly, so that we focus on what we have to do on the preparation of the match of the PSL Championship.
So we'll take the last 2 questions.
Coach, we're from Vision Africa. Just
back of your experience, of course, at the Club World Cup. I mean, you get a backlash from international coaches. I mean, the Jurgen Klopp speaking about this tournament being useless. But then you're navigating that as an African continent, saying yes, but we still need to go there so that we can put ourselves amongst the elite in the world. Just want to get your thoughts around just the really importance of having the African teams in that space. I mean, while you're still navigating the fact that there's this fixture congestion that is spoken around the world, just the importance of it in this African teams.
Yeah, I totally understand your question, and I totally understand the worries of the coaches in general, mostly the ones that are from the big European teams, because they play Champions League games until the end of the season. They will have important qualification matches for their national teams after they finish their home calendar, let's say, their home competitions, their local competitions, and directly they go for the World Cup of clubs. And then directly they will enchain and they will start the I totally understand. It's not a matter of being useless when the coaches speak about the World Championship of Clubs. It's just make them understand that the fact that there's such a fixture has high impact on the level of the performance of the players in the following season. And that can harm the players in terms of injuries, in terms of, the volume of work the players will do is unbelievable. For ourselves, obviously, we'll have also a very congested fixture. We are having it this season, and we'll have it for sure on the following one. And I don't know, I haven't still understood, because I think there's still no dates for the beginning of the next championship, the next PSL. But these players, they will need vacation. They will need vacations. Because vacation is the moment also when the players, they regenerate themselves, not only physically, but also emotionally. And we have to give time on the players for this, proper time for that. Otherwise, also, they will not perform in the right way, and we can get more and more injuries. And when you get injuries, not only the club suffer, the national team also suffers. So there's a complementary question on the table on all of this. But for us, and now just to go on the second part of the question, for us, that represents South Africa and that represent the African continent, of course, is an opportunity for us to compete with teams that usually are geographically far away from us. And it's an opportunity for ourselves to express the quality of the football that we have in Africa, that everybody worldwide knows it, but we have to arrive there and show that we can compete with the biggest teams from all over the world. And let's hope we do it in the right way, that we prepare ourselves, and also that we arrive on that moment in the proper way, because also this season will be tough for us. This season will be tough. And if we arrive on the last stages of the Champions League, it will be even worse. So let's see if we can arrive in the right moment to give the right answers. We'll work hard so that we can do it, because Africa deserves us to represent them in the best way.
I hope you are. Okay, ask your question, let's be brief, because we need to go down the ready for us.
I'm jumping into from News 24. What do you make of Coach Riveiro in terms of that they pose? And if I can sneak this in, I mean, I'm sure you're aware of the rivalry between the Portuguese and the Spanish. Does that play any role in
No, that rivalry doesn't exist, because basically we speak the same language. You know, he's from Vigo. I worked in Vigo as a head coach of the team where he was a coach also. In his academy when he was younger. We crossed ourselves already. There's no rivalry at all. Coaches don't play against each other. Teams play against each other. So we come from a local region. We speak the same language because they speak also Portuguese. And when we met on the NetBank press conference, he even told me, you want to speak Spanish? Don't speak Spanish, speak Portuguese. I can speak Portuguese. So please, there's no rivalry at all. Of course, he will defend his club. I will defend my club. But that's not the spirit I see. As I said, and I repeat, coaches don't play against each other. Teams play against each other. It's a completely different approach. The other question was, sorry?
What do you make of that team?
About the team. Look, speaking about opponents when everybody knows that opponents have quality is useless. It's a team that has a style, that wants to go for something, a team that has years of work already with this coach, that gives him, obviously, it gave him an opportunity to grow the team in the way he wants. I think we are in the right moment also, but I also believe that in 1 year, in 1.5 years, our team will be as stronger than it is in the moment, as I see it. That's the work he already did. But that doesn't take off or add anything, because we are in a good moment. We have a lot of things to put on the table, in this case on the pitch. It will be a wonderful clash between the teams for sure, and let's hope we do it in the right way and we win the match. It's the most important thing.
Thank you, coach. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you very much.
Colleagues, we will go and set up outside.